at 7, a law that would ban public funding for losing sports teams and require owners to pay back taxpayers if they leave the city they play in. That goal of a new legislation about to be introduced by Ohio Democratic Senator Bill DeMora. Now, the Public Access to Professional Sports Act is what they're calling it. 19 Data journalist Jeff Slofson just talked to the senator. He has more on what he said. This is really interesting.
Yeah, no surprise that this comes at the time it does when, the Browns are currently lobbying Columbus to try and get money for their new stadium. And they happen to be one of the teams on the outside looking in if this were to pass. Something we're going to be covering much more on our weekly show, Stadium Showdown, that is Fridays, 6:30. Before we get to that, let's go through exactly what this bill is going to be. Again, this has been announced by Senator DeMora, will be introduced this week. It would ban public funding for any team that does not have 3 out of 5 seasons above 500. If your team the past 5 years had at least 3 seasons with a winning record, they'd be good. They'd be eligible to get public funding for a new stadium. In addition to that, it would require teams to repay for funds if they decide to leave. Now, that would be repaying taxpayers. Basically, if it's a publicly funded stadium and they are leaving, the money that they use to publicly fund it, they'd have to pay back. That's according to this portion of the law. So I went through and I looked at every single professional sports team in the state of Ohio. There are 8. And I tried to figure out over the last 5 seasons, I went by completed seasons, who would qualify and who wouldn't. Everybody that's in green here, those are seasons that would qualify here. The Reds, Guardians, Crew, FC Cincinnati, Cavaliers, and Bengals. All 6 of these teams would qualify. All 6 of these have at least 3 seasons 500 or better, particularly here in the city of Cleveland. The Guardians in 24, 22, and 20 would have gotten that, and then the Cavaliers in 24, 23, and 22. The only 2 professional sports teams in the state of Ohio who do not have at least 3 winning records over the last 5 seasons, the Browns and the Columbus Blue Jackets. So yeah, very much so feels like this could be a piece of legislation that is targeting the Browns. And I specifically asked Senator DeMora about that, and here's what he had to say.
The Browns are the only one in the current state budget to get $600 million. I mean, no other professional sports team has money in the budget getting $600 million. So, of course, they're the ones right now that are in the public eye. But again, this is to mandate that the public should get something for their money if they're going to give public money to a billionaire team owner, no matter what owner it is.
Now, I did ask Senator DeMora if there is a plan to potentially have this happen before the budget is passed. He said it's not necessarily looking likely. The House votes on the financial parts of the budget this week. Then there's a 2-week hiatus for the Senate, and then it would all go throughout there. So it's not looking likely that it would happen right now. However, this is something we're going to be breaking down quite a bit this week, as I mentioned. Stadium Showdown, Fridays, 6:30, our digital-only show, giving you a complete look at everything involved in the potential stadium. And yeah, this is going to be a pretty big part of it. Again, 6:30s, all over your digital platforms. That's where we're going to be covering this in detail.